Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of Eye of the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lore and Fray, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. It seems like Callisto Protocol, the spiritual successor to Dead Space, has completely flopped. It's getting 5 out of 10s from everyone. I've seen Max Dude rage quit it on stream and boot up God of War Ragnarok instead. I'm seeing everyone bitch about it. It seems very clear that the new return to form for this franchise is dead in the water. This was the game. This was one of those games that a lot of people were hyping up because, oh man, I love Dead Space. It's one of the best games of all time. First of all, play more games. That's always what I've said for all of you guys, all of you dudes who are seriously coming out like saying that I want a new Dino Crisis. I want to bang Regina. I want a new Silent Hill. Like, your IP is dead and has been dead for like 20 years, okay? Like, it's not coming back. And we're getting to the point where we're seeing a lot of like mid-2000s franchises like Dead Space go through this process where like a spiritual successor gets made, it gets hyped up by fanboys who ignored the flaws of Dead Space's of all 3 games in the series. Well, actually, Dead Space 1, which was overrated to begin with, 2, which was a downgrade from the original, 3, which was a complete mess, and like shit like Extraction, which was like some shitty rail shooter that people like Screw Attack pretended was some like hidden classic on the Wii, right? Like, all of those games were terrible, okay? They were all bad. And now what we're seeing is now we're at that point where EA is putting out like a remake of the original Dead Space. And I think Callisto Protocol was being attacked by critics for that reason, because we know that game journals have no real standards. These people have no real credibility. They can't critique anything. They have no self-awareness. I'm seeing a lot of people try to damage control Callisto Protocol's like reception as to being due to its difficulty, but in reality, I think the game is just badly made. But the reason it's being attacked is because the remake is coming out. Like, EA does not want this like Dead Space clone, I think made by the original creators, coming out and like taking attention away from like the IP that they own, right? Like, EA bought Visceral, and now they're like raping their corpse. That is what's going on with Dead Space right now. It's exactly like SimCity 2013. It's exactly like everything else they've done. Mass Effect Andromeda. This is just another example of just why modern gaming in the West is just a complete disaster. I don't even know why people look forward to Western games at all. There isn't like everything good that comes from the West. Like, it's in the indie scene. Like, there's no denying at this point. Like, the people who are actually good at making games go independent and just produce higher quality stuff than they would ever make from a publisher. We've seen this over and over again with like Neon White and Hollow Knight and I think Sifu. Like, all of these games are like really good, compelling, like independently produced rights. Like, companies like EA, the big publishers, are an anomaly. Like, they shouldn't exist. Like, fundamentally, we don't need them. Like, we just need a developer to put out a game and then they can release it on Nintendo Switch. We don't need companies like EA just hogging all these companies and like dead IPs. Like, just let the IPs stay dead. If nobody wants to work on these games, like, it's just basically this example of Callisto Protocol. It shows the problem, like, with the current state of things, right? In that Callisto Protocol got hyped up for being like a Dead Space spiritual successor, even though like there was nothing really going for it. Like, it's not anything innovative or new. It's the ukulele of Dead Space clones, right? And then we have the remake from the big AAA corporation, which is going to be soulless. It's like open world or some shit. Like, I don't know why they're even like trying to put this thing out. Like, it's not going to be successful. It's going to be like another Mirror's Edge Catalyst, in which they take a cult classic IP and just kind of botch anything that was appealing about it to its audience. Just like they did with Dead Space 3. So what I I'm not surprised by how Callisto Protocol is being received. It's just another example of just how far things have fallen for gaming in general. Like right now, people are trying to pretend God of War Ragnarok is good. Like I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers try to say like, oh, the story is one of the best I've ever experienced. It's a lot less enthusiastic than 10 years ago when they said the same thing about The Last of Us. You know, these guys are tired. They are bored. And the thing is, they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that the games they're playing don't have good stories, that they don't have good combat, that they're not interesting or fun or innovative or original in this case. Like, all they care about is consuming the big new product from whatever team, whatever brand they're a fan of, and then just kind of just ignoring everything else, everything that's objectively superior. Like, I don't know why this has continued the way it has for so long. Like, gamers are the most ignorant, brain dead, like stupid, like population of like neophytes on the planet, right? They are complete plebs. They have no idea what's out there. They have no idea like what they could be experiencing on superior hardware, on Nintendo hardware. Like they have no idea like what's actually out there. Like they really don't. They're just blindly getting excited seeing like old familiar names up there with no real understanding as to like how these games get made or how realistically they're going to turn out, you know? I was disgusted like seeing like Callisto Protocol being hyped up in certain circles. Like I did not care for it at all. It was like the end of the year's equivalent of like Elden Ring or for Horizon Forbidden West or like Returnal or like Deathloop or like Scorn. Like there were so many like games like among this community of people that like they just hyped up for no reason other than the fact that like, oh, it's the next big thing, we have to get excited for the next big thing. And if it's and then we move on to the next big thing. Like, how about you do something else? Like, that's kind of my advice to you. Like, do something else. Talking about video games is not working out for you. Like, read a book. Like, go outside. Like, do something other than care about Dead Space.